how can it be that if I'm the one who has to validate the validation in the first place, has to say this is valid, this document is valid, or this person is valid, or this number is valid, anything in the material, if it's me who has to say that this has some sort of power or has a say about who I am and about what is, why am I like, where am I putting the quote unquote external? Like, in what pedestal have I put it when I'm actually the one in charge, when I'm the one who decides? Hello, you gorgeous, amazing, beautiful, epic, wonderful beings. Hello to this episode. I'm so glad to be here again. And this episode is the kind of like a deep dive that I felt I want to do after yesterday's reel that I posted about external validation, because I felt there's so much more to say, even though the reel in itself kind of, is hitting it home. But there is more. There's more that we can talk about, and definitely more to external validation than what I captured in those 3 minutes. And I want to start by saying that for my listeners, every time that you hear me say the word external validation, please imagine me making this quotation mark gesture. And I want to, get into external as a word a little bit later on in this episode. However, I want to start by really talking about my experience with external validation, and even just the realizing what it actually is. And I feel like for me, at least, the first thing that that comes to mind is external validation, as in like another person, somebody validating you. But what we are talking about here is anything that you would call external. So I'm talking about anything in this material world, people, things, objects, situations, whatsoever, anything that you, as the being, would say that validates something for me. This is what makes it true. And I want to say that for me, the experience was, even though there were certain areas in my life where external validation wasn't really something that I felt like that mattered to me, it wasn't entirely true. Because, and here it goes, it's either you realize that you are the one that validates any kind of validation, or it is you who doesn't recognize who you are as the one who does that, the one who is the ultimate validation, the one who says what is true, what has a meaning, or what has a power even to say that something is true other than you. It is just you, only you. You have me, like, you heard me say that over and over again. And that's all I can say, actually, in terms of this is how it's happening. This is how validation truly happens in you. You as the one who says what is true for you. You as the one who decides what is and how it is for you. We could end this episode here, but like I said, it's like with the reel, there's so much more to say. Because anytime, or when I recognized in how many ways I was still waiting in this waiting room of life, waiting for something or someone to validate my experience, to validate how I saw myself, who I said, this is who I am. But now I have to wait because I need proof for that, because there is definitely something or someone who has to validate that, because it can't just be me. It's not just like, I can't just like sit here and say, this is who I am. And it's actually what you're doing in every single moment. The recognition of that it is me and this very moment, and only that, and that every single thing is just following my I am and my it is. I've really come to recognize, and this week was like, I found myself in several conversations where I overheard people talk, but also where I was part of a conversation where I really recognized how what it is really about when two people share, this is how it is for me, and seek validation, and the other person goes, this is how it is for me, that what they actually are seeking, what they're actually after, isn't validate me in that experience of myself, or that this is true. They still want to be validated as true, as you are true. There I am. Because there I am and there it is isn't theirs. At least that's what they decide it is, because it is somewhere out there in some person, in some number, in some circumstance, in some, I don't know, authority whatsoever. Doesn't matter. Fill in the blank. Validation takes, it's almost like a shapeshifter. It takes form over and over and over again in all the many different ways. And once you like found and had like, now I have the validation for this or for that. Okay, great, validated. But now either the metric just rises. Okay, now I'm in question again because now I need to validate this new experience of myself, or it just takes like over in a different area. Like, okay, now I'm in question here, I'm in question there. What stays and what is like the same, what doesn't go away, is that you are in question, that your being is in question. And I really, at some point, was just so tired of constantly trying to prove myself, trying to find something that would validate that I'm true, that this is true about me, something. And it doesn't matter. We can go in all the ways, in all the directions. It was that this search, this need for it, like something always needed to validate me, to validate that it is true. And I like, it was just the experience of myself needing this was just like, at some point I just like, I was like, I don't want to be like this. I don't want my life to be like this anymore. I'm tired. I'm done. I'm that's it. Because like I said, it doesn't end. It just takes new form, like validated here, then next topic, next area, next thing, where I'm constantly in question. And this is maybe the point where I want to talk about external for a moment, because it is my position here when I say that there is something over there in the external, and this is the material world, and I'm here, and this over there needs to validate me. Who do I see myself as? I'm seeing myself as on the outside and kind of dependent on that and separate. Like, I don't see myself as the one being, as the one inside. And this is where any kind of finger pointing, any direction, like inside, outside, where like language really is not helping me in that way, because there is no inside, outside whatsoever. But for the sake of it, that everything is happening inside of me, the being, inside of you, the being, and at the same time inside of me, the being. Like, it's, there is no direction to point because it's all one. And this position reveals who I see myself as. I'm here, and that what I want to be, who I want to be, is at a distance. It's over there. It's inside this thing, and this goal, and this person, and this document, and this number, and this anything. And this way of experiencing myself, that was what I was just like, this is not this isn't it. This this isn't how I wanted to be for me. And it also didn't feel true. It didn't feel true because how can it be that if I'm the one who has to validate the validation in the first place, has to say this is valid, this document is valid, or this person is valid, or this number is valid, anything in the material, if it's me who has to say that this has some sort of power or has a say about who I am and about what is, why why am I like, what am I, where am I putting the quote unquote external? Like, in what pedestal have I put it when I'm actually the one in charge, when I'm the one who decides? And it was, and this is why I said, or why I also wanted to record this episode, that it goes so much further than just, oh yeah, okay, I don't need validation from people, whatever. It is validation at all, because you recognize that you are the validation. There is no one who validates you. You validate. You say what is true. You decide how it is for you. And when I witnessed those conversations this last week, where I noticed how people are talking about topics, and it is never about the thing, it is about they don't recognize who they are, and that everyone is being truth. Everyone is constantly, in every single moment, deciding who they are and how it is. And my truth does not make your truth not true, and vice versa. Recognizing this, then we don't need to talk about and discuss in the sense of like debate about it, because now we're in the right and wrong game. There, if something is true, then something else cannot be true, and that's not how this is. It is you and your reality. And in my reel, I said it, it's not a group project. Reality is not a group project. Reality, and here it shows you as the one. You are not a group project. You, who you are, is not up for discussion. I mean, unless you decide it is. But it will still be you who decided that this was up for discussion, that there was somebody who can question whether you are or not. It's you. It stays wherever you're trying to put it. It was you who put it there. The power, the say, the validation. Whether it's a person or it's an like seemingly immaterial object, or like, you know what I mean. It is you. And when you truly recognize who you are, the truth, the one who says, this is how it is, then the question arises like, what are you doing with this very moment where you get to decide? Because, and here it goes, you cannot not be, I said it before, you are always deciding. even right now in this moment, whether you decide what I'm saying is true for you or whether you say this is bullshit, you're still deciding. Like there is a decision happening in this very moment. So the question is like, okay, if I'm deciding anyways, in every single moment, what do I want? What do I want for it to be true? Is this how I want it to be for me? Is this how I want it to be? The need for validation dissolves when you recognize who you are. Because before, the need for it was there because it was, I need to be confirmed in who I say I am or in what I decide it is, because I haven't truly decided, because I haven't truly recognized that being is not a question. When something is, there's a full stop, right? This is how it is. And you're doing that in every moment. You're deciding and say, this is how it is. There's in so many moments when people tell me like, yeah, well, but this is just how life is. No, this is how life is for you. And I don't mean seeing it with your eyes. It's how you see yourself, who you see yourself as. That is your experience. And that is how life is for you. And then you will be confirmed in all the ways of who you decided you are and how it just is for you, for this person. There is just this one moment. Even when I said you decide in every single moment, it kind of implies as if there were several ones, but actually it's just this one, this moment. And it's almost like you are looking, kind of that's how I imagined it, and like in a visual, like there's these infinite amounts of versions of you that can experience this moment. And your experience will always be the one that you decide is now who you are. And I know that that's when often like then it comes like, yeah, but it has always been like this or blah, blah, blah. Or like when you don't bring the past into this very moment, then the past doesn't even exist. Like who needs the past anyway? Like it's just a story. But the you, the being, it doesn't need a story to exist. Just like it doesn't need anything. It is. And I know that my mind went really crazy. Like, wait, what do you mean? Like, I don't need anything. How can I say I don't? Of course, I need people and I need money and I need blah, blah, blah. Being doesn't need anything. It is. That is who you are. You are this. Yeah, you are everything. All of this, the material world happens inside my being, if we want to say so. And again, don't quote me on this, like trying to locate it, because there's no need for any kind of location, just to understand that this is who you are. You are everything. Everything you see with your eyes is just confronting with you, with who you are. And I don't mean in the sense of these people are who you are. Yes, in a way they are too, but like, how do you see yourself? In what position are you looking at or from at this? Like, when like somebody who says they need validation, for example, they already decided that it isn't because they need the validation. Somebody who decides that I don't have money, that's their decision. Or I need money. It's like you decided that you don't have it. Being is is so radical and so absolute because, well, the moment that you decide something is, there's nothing to do anymore. And guess what happened before in every single moment where you decided that something was true? And then, okay, let's say I need an apartment. And then, okay, so I need an apartment. And then you go and start looking for apartments, looking, as the one who doesn't have an apartment, doing all the things until, because that's what you decided is what you needed to do, until that truth can actually change the moment that you have an apartment. However, it is, as we said, like it is, there's just this moment. And truth doesn't change by doing, it changes through being, deciding that something else is true. It happens in the moment. Like the apartment didn't just like gradually grow and then whatever. It was you who decided, I am the one who is the one who has an apartment. No searching. And I mentioned that in my reel that I had this conversation in like somewhere in April, I think, or May, where I was in Sicily and then this guy asked me like, what are you doing like professionally? And I said like, I'm being. A lot of confusion, blah blah blah. And then he asked me like, how do you kill the day? And first of all, I'm not killing any day, I'm living it to the fullest. But the question, that what he meant was like, but what are you, like what are you doing then? Because being says this is what is. So if I already decided that it is, there is nothing that I need to do, right? In order to. And so when that kind of is missing, like this step, like this is what we have to do, this is what we need to do. What are we doing now? Well, what you want to do. Because guess what? Every single thing that you said that you needed to do, that you have to do, was still you, and you wanted that to be true. You decided that this is how it is. You wanted that. Nobody forced you to want that to be true. You just decided that this is true. It is so simple and so obvious. And you realize how so much of like the doing is just keeping you busy with something, but it's not the question, or it's not that what creates quote unquote. It is your being. It is you deciding, and then just not deciding something else again. Not questioning your decision that this is true, no matter what. And here goes, and this is the other side of validation. No matter what the material, the external, quote, big fat quotation marks, is showing you. Because this is where it then drifts on the other side. Yeah, see, here, happened again. Or there, this is, or here's that number, or there's this person saying this, or this document showing me that, blah, blah, blah. Where you find validation, because who are you in that moment? Yeah, right. You're again the one who needs validation. Where it shows that you haven't recognized that you say how it is, because you still need validation. You're now trying to validate yourself through just validating even the experience that you say you don't want to have. Like, see, but this is true. Okay, do you want it to be true? Is this how you want it to be for you? Is yeah, if you say this is how it is, like, is this your decision? Because it is yours, no matter where you put it. You cannot outsource source. Luckily so. You can like kind of put it somewhere and then pretend as if it wasn't you, but like even putting it there was you. You. The way that this recognition of who I am, my I am, the being, has really like my experience of life and every single thing in it has I don't know even like I can't even say has changed. It's just like I'm finally I can finally be. And I just sat there the other night and had a conversation, or was at a table where a conversation was happening. And they were talking about how it is for them. And I was sitting there and I just recognized, oh my God, I am so incredibly, deeply happy and at peace and in love with how it is for me. I can see them and their decision, who they are and how it is for them, and then how it has to be for them. How they are constantly validating their own experience of who they are. And it is a decision. There is no good and bad and right and wrong. It's just like, okay, that's how they decide it is for them. It not for me. And this is the question that I can constantly ask myself when presented with something in the material world and is external. Is this how I see myself? Is this how I want it to be for me? That's it. I don't need to disagree and fight anything. God, the fighting. Oh, constantly defending and fighting for and trying to prove, like all of that. This like only exists because you have already decided that it was true. I don't need to fight something that isn't true in the first place. I don't need to defend it. I don't need to trying to convince anyone of anything. Why would I? I am the one who decides what is true. And this freedom and this isness, and oh my goodness, like I just get to decide how it is for me. And nobody and nothing can validate me other than me, can say how it is for me other than me. I have this very moment to decide how it is for me. No validation needed. I've said it before where, like, this waiting room of life is having it backwards. I go first. The being is first. The being that says, this is who I am. This is how it is for me. And then the rest, the quote unquote material, is just following me. Like I am leading it. My I am. My it is. That's it. The truth, you, doesn't get truer. Like there is no who's supposed to validate the validating power? Like who? What? Who are you waiting for? What are you waiting for? God, all the whens and the conditions and the ways and the methods and the working for it and trying to prove it, and oh, it's a decision. I want to be clear on that. You decide. And if this is the experience that you enjoy and how you want it to be for you, great. Like I said, for me, it was like I was just done. Done. Done, done, done. This wasn't the experience how I wanted to experience myself. This was not my, this is just how it is. Your decision, just as it is mine. And I still remember all the ways and how I was like, but I mean, I cannot just decide how it is. Like, who am I? Yeah, right. Who are you? Because you're already deciding. That is it. Like, the moment that your mind is coming up with, like, but who, I cannot just decide this is how it is. Well, you're doing that already. You've done that. This has been at work all the long, like all the way, all along, in every single moment. To not need validation, proof, all of that is, I mean, just, it just is. Suddenly, I get to be, and as I get to be, everything just gets to be. Nothing proves me, nothing validates me. That's being. Because I am the validating force. I'm this almighty isness that decides what is. And that is who you are. And in the ways how this changes the experience of life in all the ways, like even if I just go into like my relationships, nobody, like we're not validating each other anymore. We don't need, I don't need my friends to tell me I'm true. And even the other way around. And if their truth is the complete opposite to mine, doesn't make mine not true. We are all true. You are being. I am being. We decide how it is. You decide how it is for you, and I decide how it is for me. And that's the experience of ourselves that we are having. It's so simple. So astonishingly simple, so in your face simple. But to really recognize that and to not see yourself as the story that you're living out, but as the one who decides what story basically you're experiencing, how this life gets to be for you. God, it's just epic. Epic, epic, epic. You don't need validation. Your being doesn't need validation. It is the validation. You are the proof. That's it. And now, what are you going to do with your I am? What are you going to do with your it is? Or to say it with the words of my Sicilian friend, how are you going to kill your day? Or rather, how are you going to live this very moment? Being who? Deciding what? Beautiful beings. Being, like, is just so, it just is. And that is what makes it so, yeah, like, there is no arriving because there was never anywhere to get. There's no achieving because there was nothing to achieve, because I just get to decide who I am and what is. And I don't need to wait for nothing and no one for me to have this experience of myself already. I just get to decide. And that's what I'm busy with. That's how I kill my day. Deciding what is true, deciding who I am, deciding how I want it to be for me, who I see myself as. That's a pretty nice thing to spend your quote unquote time with, to be in this moment. That's what it is. Be here and decide Who am I being? What is being? And then enjoy it. Is there anything else for this episode? Validation? No. Nothing's here. Nothing's present for me anymore. That's it. If this is how you want it to be for you, then you are so invited into Being Studios. You know which one of the spaces is yours, whether it's a one-on-one or it's one of the group spaces. You find all of them on the website. And if this is just how you enjoy it, exactly how it is for you, if you enjoy that, if this is how you want it to be, then I'm just like, yes, you go girl, you go boy. I'm so incredibly thrilled and happy for you. Go enjoy being. Enjoy who you are and how it is for you. And with that, can't wait to see you inside Being Studios and in the next episode. So much love your way.